Hello, welcome to your Global Fashion and Supply Chain podcast. Today, Monday, April 6. The Hormuz crisis is rewriting apparel supply chains. Sri Lanka's garment exports are falling fast, and Vietnam is betting big on future, while the lights are still on. I'm Sedat Sezer, breaking down the news and insights you need to start your day. Let's get into it. Let's start with what's staying at the top of every sourcing director's agenda right now, the Strait of Hormuz. The US-Iran conflict has pushed Brent crude oil to around 110 a barrel. That's a roughly 60% increase since the war began. And for the apparel and textile industry, that number isn't just a fuel cost, it's a raw material cost. Polyester and polypropylene, polyethylene, all of these are oil derivatives, and they respond to crude prices almost in real time. Cotton isn't immune either, because the fertilizer costs are up to 35%, and that feeds straight into the fiber prices. The TGSD, Turkey's Garment Manufacturer and Association, published a report this week putting the numbers in stark terms. Energy costs at Asian production centers are surging. Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Bangladesh, all of them are absorbing these shocks simultaneously. Now here's where it gets interesting for Turkey specifically. TGSD submitted this report directly to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, and they are asking for something concrete, a 10% foreign currency conversion incentive for net exporters, labor support, and a restructuring of rediscount credits. The window they're identifying is the December 2026 and February next year shipment cycle. That's when orders diverted from Asia could realistically land in Turkish factories if those factories are ready and if the policy responses comes fast enough. The Baltic Dry Index is sitting at 2066 and trending upward. Freight rates from Asia to Europe are up roughly 15%. When you add to that to higher raw material cost, the price advantage that Vietnam or Sri Lanka held over Turkish nearshore production starts to narrow. Not disappear, narrow. That distinction matters a lot. This connects directly to the Sri Lanka story. Garment exports from Sri Lanka were down 6% in January and February, compared to the same period of last year. The reason isn't just the freight cost. The Hormuz disruption had hit Sri Lanka's power grid hard enough that manufacturers there have moved to a 4-day working week. Transit times from Sri Lanka to Europe have stretched to 10 to 14 days. A buyer managing a spring-summer 2027 calendar is already doing the math on whether that schedule is workable. Some of them are clearly deciding it isn't. I've been watching this pattern for months. When a disruption hits multiple sourcing countries at once, buyers don't automatically pivot to the next cheapest option. They look for the most reliable option at an acceptable price point. That's where Turkey's nearshore argument has real traction. The Istanbul to Rotterdam transit roughly 10 days by road. You can't replicate that from Colombo or Dhaka right now, not under current conditions. But there is a counterweight to this, and it's important to name it clearly. The Hormuz crisis is also a cost pressure for Turkish manufacturers. Synthetic fiber prices are rising, energy costs are rising. The Turkish lira is already under pressure. So we are in a paradoxical situation where Turkey has more demand signals coming in and a more difficult cost structure to manage at the same time. Same pattern, different geography. Vietnam. The country recorded a 42.9% year-on-year increase in foreign direct investments in the first quarter of 2026. This is a record, and it signals something important. Despite the short-term energy disruptions, Vietnam's oil stocks are below 20 days of supply, and remote work is being encouraged to reduce diesel consumption. Global investors are still betting on Vietnam as a long-term manufacturing hub. The country is deliberately moving up the value chain, expanding technology-intensive production, and positioning for the next phase of growth after the disruption passes. I don't read this as a threat to Turkey as in the short term, but it's a reminder that the nearshoring opportunity for Turkey is looking at right now is not permanent. Vietnam is building the infrastructure today for the competitive battle it intends to win in 2028 and 29. Turkey needs to be doing the same, not just responding to this quarter's order inquiries. The Turkish government is working on a foreign investment support package, tax incentives, faster permitting, investment facilitation, designed to attract companies looking to relocate capacity out of the Middle East risk zone. 3 separate sources confirmed this over the weekend. The level of signals coverage usually means the package is close to announcement. If it includes textile-specific provisions, it could accelerate investment decisions in ways that the current incentive framework hasn't able to do. The main question I want to leave you today is, the Hormuz crisis creating a real, measurable window for Turkish apparel manufacturers. But windows close. The question for Turkish factory owners and the industry associations isn't whether the opportunity is there. It's whether the preparation is there to meet it. That's all for today's analysis. To make sure you never miss the insights behind the numbers, hit subscribe wherever you get your podcast. I'm Sedat Sezer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, stay ahead of the curve.